welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're tackling a question that I am sure you have felt deep in your bones. Why does a hard day of just thinking leave you feeling completely, utterly wiped out? You know that feeling, right? After a long day of just focused mental work. Maybe you've been staring at a spreadsheet, trying to solve a tricky problem, or cramming for an exam. You feel physically exhausted. Well, you are definitely not alone. And it's not just in your head. That feeling of being mentally drained is a very real biological thing happening inside. For the longest time, some theories actually suggested that this kind of fatigue was just an illusion, like your brain was just tricking you into stopping a boring task and doing something more fun. But as Dr. Pesiglione points out here, that's not the whole story, not at all. We now know that cognitive work leads to real functional changes in the brain, that exhaustion is a genuine signal that something is up. Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is going on in there? To really understand that feeling of mental burnout, we have to look inside your brain's prefrontal cortex, which is ground zero for when that drain starts to set in. All right, so here's how it works. A pretty recent study laid this whole process out beautifully. When you're really pushing your brain, doing some intense cognitive work for a long time, a key chemical called glutamate starts to build up. And it builds up in a really important place, the synapses, which are basically the little connections between your brain cells, specifically in your prefrontal cortex. Now, as this glutamate starts to pile up, it actually makes it harder to keep thinking deeply. It's almost like a chemical traffic jam. And your brain, being the smart organ it is, starts to protect itself. It begins nudging you, almost whispering, hey, how about we do something easier? It pushes you towards tasks that offer a quick, easy reward. That shift, that internal nudge to take the easy way out, well, that's exactly what we feel as mental fatigue. So wait a minute. Our brains are basically producing metabolic waste, a kind of mental junk, just by thinking hard, which naturally leads to a really big question. How on earth does all that junk get cleaned out? And believe it or not, for more than 100 years, this was a huge scientific puzzle. See, the rest of our body has this amazing waste clearing network called the lymphatic system, but for the life of them, scientists couldn't find anything like it in the brain. It was a real head scratcher. How does this incredibly busy, energy hungry organ take out its own trash? Well, the answer finally dropped in 2012, and it was a total game changer. Researchers discovered this unique hidden network they called the glymphatic system. The name itself is pretty clever, coined by neuroscientist Mikey Niedergard. It's a mashup of glial cells, which are crucial for how it works, and lymphatic system, because it does a similar job. Think of this system as a super sophisticated, microscopic power washing network for your brain. Here's the gist of it. First, cerebrospinal fluid gets pumped into the brain, flowing alongside the arteries. This fluid then moves deep into your brain tissue, mixing with the fluid there and picking up all that waste we talked about, like that excess glutamate. This whole flow is managed by these amazing star-shaped glial cells called astrocytes. And then, once it's collected all the garbage, the fluid and the waste get flushed out along channels around the veins. Pretty cool, right? Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. This whole cleaning system isn't just running on full blast all the time. Nope. It has a very specific, very important time when it really kicks into high gear. And that time is when you're in deep sleep. When you hit that deep, slow wave sleep, something truly remarkable happens. The physical space between your brain cells actually expands. It gets about 60% bigger. It's like your brain is literally opening up the floodgates to let the cleaning crew do its job more effectively. And you can see the difference right here. When you're awake, that lymphatic flow is pretty low, kind of inefficient, just a little trickle. But during deep sleep, that 60% expansion of space allows for a huge increase in the flow. It really is the difference between a dripping faucet and a fire hose, just power washing away all the junk that built up while you were awake. And that right there is one of the biggest reasons why sleep is so incredibly restorative for your mind. It's not just about passively resting, it's an active, heavy duty maintenance cycle that's absolutely essential for getting your brain ready for another day of thinking. But honestly, the stakes here are way, way higher than just feeling a little less groggy in the morning. This nightly deep clean is absolutely critical for the long-term health of your brain. See, the glymphatic system doesn't just clear out that glutamate that makes you feel tired today, it's also taking out other, much more dangerous trash, including things like misfolded proteins, specifically something called amyloid beta. And why should you care about amyloid beta? Well, because the buildup of that specific protein in the plaques is one of the main hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. To put it in perspective, studies on mice showed that when their lymphatic cleaning system wasn't working right, the brain's ability to clear out this dangerous protein dropped by more than half. That's a huge deal. So all of this completely changes how we should think about that feeling of mental exhaustion. It is not a weakness. It's not some illusion. It's a vital protective signal. It's your brain's check engine light coming on, telling you, hey, the waste products are building up in here. It's time to shut down for a bit so I can run the essential cleaning cycle. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that prioritizing good, deep sleep isn't just about feeling better tomorrow or getting through a tough week at work. It's a long-term investment in your future brain health, which leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. Is the sleep you're getting tonight powerful enough to protect the brain you'll need for the rest of your life?